Alright, we're recording and Darth Bank is trying to kill me here, and that's okay. What we've got is a medic. Sorry, come to your vehicle, your infantry terminal and have a look at your medic. So on my screen, people can see what I'm looking at. But there's two things. There's two things that are important to this. Only two fucking things, and you can get certed at level 1 for both of them, and then boom, Bob's your uncle. You have pretty much done the command flash. So let's just do that right now. What we're going to do is going to go into our medic. We're looking at our medic, and we're going to come down to combat medic search. That's just under your camo selection in the middle of your screen below your character. And then we're going to head to passive systems. Okay, so that's the fourth one down. Combat medic passive systems triage. Just get level 1. Okay, 100 certs. Let's call it out 100 certs. When inside a vehicle, the combat medic will passively heal 10 health per second to allied soldiers within 5 meters. So if people are standing around you, you can heal them while you're on a vehicle or in a vehicle. It doesn't matter what vehicle either. So again, this can actually work with javelins, and I think javelins would be meta, but I'm not sure if they've got radar. So, talking about radar, we now go completely away from the medic. We've done our 100 certs. Where the fuck's this? Okay, over here. Sorry. I know what I'm doing. Flash. Okay, humble flash. First on the top of the list when it comes to vehicles. All you need to do, utility, scout radar 1. Look, whether it's 50 or 100, what you're going to do is you're going to have your entire command flash set up really like the most important, not the entire thing, the most important part when you've got those two things, okay? And you can get onto any character and you can do that easily, fucking easy. Like, it's easy, guys. Like, you know, so if you're on a different faction, if you're running with us on different factions, why not jump on a command flash and just like bank up certs, get into a tunnel fight, mate. You will be level higher than your battle rank right now very quickly, okay? Let's have a look at the rest of the build. So let's go to the medic side. All you're going to do is you're going to max your passive systems, you know, your triage, max it all the way up. At the very top there, you've got when inside a vehicle, the combat medics will passively heal for 30 health per second, so you're healing quicker. Still within 5 meters, but it's a lot quicker. So just think about all that juicy certs that you get passively. Again, maximum radar, that makes sense as well. But then there's these other things we need to consider. Now, shield recharging field at level 1 for the ability slot is highly recommended. Within 7 meters, you regenerate shields. So you put that down and you get on your bike, and now you're regenerating shields, you're regenerating health, and you're scanning. Like a fucking up to 100 meters, guys. 100 meters. That's like a whole size of a base. Think about it down in Nason's tunnels, okay? And you're like scanning at 100 meters. You're just rolling in the certs. Like I'm like fucking. It's thousands, okay? If you've got membership, it's thousands per hour. Grenade Bandolier 4 your revive grenade. Definitely get revive grenade before grenade bandolier. You don't need grenade bandolier until you got revive grenade, but then once you do, it's really good. Again, thinking tunnels in the at Nason's, and there's like 20 people dying a second, and you're just throwing revives. And if it's your squad and your platoon, then you've got like 1,000, and if it's like double XP, and you remember, you got like 1,000 XP per person that you're reviving for up to like 20,000 XP. Like boom, like it's fucking that quick. It's insanity. So, moving on from that, C4 gives you a higher amount of versatility. If a max is going to push your position, that's what you're going to need. C4 is extremely versatile. Melee, get whatever you want. And then we'll actually look at Ordnance Dampener. Ordnance Dampener is only available once you've hit a certain merit level with the outfit that you're in. And then you can buy it. Once you've bought it though, then you can keep it regardless of whether or not you join or leave a different outfit. It's there forever on your character. So Ordnance Dampener deploys a dampening field that reduces common explosive damage by 50% for allied infantry and max units within range. So the Ordnance Dampener is, I can't remember what type of experience it is, but in any case it's good to have because you're helping your team push and stay. Let's have a look. I think I was going to say one more thing before we got into implants. Implants are very, very expensive. These ones are insanely expensive, and you're lucky if you have enough stuff to do it. We'll do the flash last because really, aside from that scout radar, everything else is like definitely secondary. For the gun, you might want to consider the Punisher. The Punisher allows you to have an underbarrel in there, the adaptive underbarrel, which shoots a healing grenade, which also cleanses status effects. So extremely useful, and you can chuck on a torch on the barrel as well as the adaptive underbarrel, believe it or not. So you can have that, seeing infiltrators, etc. That said, honestly, like, this is an option, but I rarely use it, so I just go with whatever assault rifle I'm trying to harass, really, or whatever I'm doing with medic at the time. So, but that's just a recommendation. Hunter QCX secondary weapon is a crossbow which you put detect bolts on. So when you're not on your flash, you can still get radar. I like to put the dark light flashlight on again for that anti-cloaker issue or issue that you're trying to solve. Then let's move away from being a medic here, and we'll go into the flash before we hit implants. Gun really is up to you. I like the Fury for the close support indirect fire that it provides, so I'm just absolutely mincing enemies and maxes as they come in, and it's good against tanks as well if you find yourself in that situation, which you might. Scout radar should be one of the first things you do. We've covered that. Nanite auto repair system, so if you don't have an engineer with you, your flash will eventually repair itself. Quite important is Scrapper combat chassis, because it helps you to turn in those tight areas, especially in the tunnels, etc. So I actually highly recommend that. And then the horn, whatever you want, right? Implants. Logistics specialist, if you can, okay? Hard to get logistics specialist. Fairly sure 45,000 ISO or something like ridiculous like that. Obviously not highly accessible, but also it doesn't get used that much. But what it is giving you is a mobile router for your squad. This is so unbelievably useful that it's incredible, right? If you can get it, it might not be available for you. So what would I get instead of logistics? Combat surgeon. Okay, combat surgeon, medic, meta, go do that. Implants. The other implant, mending field. This is more important than either combat surgeon or logistical specialist or whatever the fuck it's called. Mending field. Allies who are below 300 health passively heal for 15 health per second while you stand within 7 meters. Okay, so that's adding on to the 30 health per second that you're healing people for on your triage. Okay, so 45 health per second within 5 minutes. This actually goes up to 7 meters, and you know what the other thing is? Because you're dropping your aura heal on as your primary ability, your default ability, mending field will still work on you. So if you're in a pickle and you're at low health, it will up you just a little bit. Not to mention you're doing it for everyone else. Incredibly important when you're on foot, when you can't get a vehicle, such as containment sites.
If you use the jockey implant, it increases your shields while you're sitting in an open seat, such as a flash.
So logistically thinking about that, that would be good to have a flash that would have that, because then you could stand around while the other flashes have the logistics specialist or whoever does, and then you're actually buffing the whole like command flash squad. Do you know what I mean? Like all the people on the command flash. Anyway, that's a really good suggestion. Who was that? Sorry, that suggested that.
Ew.
Phoenix, thank you, Phoenix. Just making sure that we're getting that you have contributed here.